Hello world, welcome to the Devemia YouTube channel. In this video, I am going to walk you through the process of disassembling a Brocade 6610 Enterprise network switch. Then I will replace the CPU, which eventually reduces the idle temperature of this switch by more than 5 Celsius degree. Before we start, all screws in the Brocade 6610 use Phillips 1 head. This is great because we will not need to swap screwdriver heads during the disassembly. Also, you may want to consider wearing some anti-static protectors, but I am fine without that. Let's begin. Step 1. For the top cover, we have to remove 15 screws. There's no latch or sliding mechanism, so we can just lift the top cover up, and this will reveal the internal components. Step 2. We will remove the power supply units. The Brocade 6610 network switch has two power supplies. Each is held by two screws. Remove them and we will be able to pull the power supply out. Step 3. After the power supplies are removed, head on to the chassis fan modules. Each is held by one screw. Remove them and pull the fan modules out. At this point, we have removed every modular component. It is time to disassemble the PCB. Step 4. Flip the Brocade 6610 upside down and remove two screws at the bottom. These screws are used to secure the stacking daughterboard of the Brocade 6610. Step 5. Flip back the network switch and look at the daughterboard. We can notice the stacking board is held by 6 screws. Let's remove the screws. Step 6. Look at the grid array on the left of the stacking board. The grid is from pins that connect the stacking board to the Brocade 6610 motherboard. Slightly wiggle the stacking board and pull it up. Do not yank it, or we might damage the connectors. On a side note, we can also slightly wiggle the daughter stacking board and remove it from the protective chassis. Keep in mind, the daughterboard's SFB cage and RJ45 ports are blocked by the protective chassis screw bones. We can slowly maneuver the board so it does not directly hit the bones. Step 7. After removing the stacking board, head on to the power supply fences. Remove 4 screws that are holding the fences. The fences are key, so we cannot swap their positions. Step 8. Remove 2 screws that are holding the Brocade 6610 front panel LED daughterboard. Step 9. Remove 7 screws that are holding the motherboard. Step 10. Remove 2 double-ended bolts that connect the motherboard and the stacking daughterboard together. For these bolts, we can unscrew them by hand. Step 11. Slightly wiggle the motherboard, then pull it out. As you can see, Some thermobars connect the motherboard and the bottom of the Brocade 6610 chassis. They are replaceable if you would like to do so, but in this video, let's keep them as is. Step 12. Slightly wiggle the front panel LED daughterboard and pull it up. The connector pins here are fragile, so be careful. Step 13. Remove the memory stick. It is 512 MB ECC sodium DDR2. I think it is a register module, but I am not so sure. Besides, I am not certain what will happen if you replace this memory stick with a different capacity one. I do not have a spare ECC sodium DDR2 memory stick to test out. Step 14. Look at the silver heatsink. Under that is the CPU of the Brocade 6610 network switch. This heatsink is secured by the spring push pins, probably ATS push pins. One thing to notice, unlike the black heatsink for the application-specific integrated circuit, the CPU heatsink does not apply much pressure. It does not firmly attach to the CPU die. The Brocade 6610 is about 10 years old, so its thermal paste has fully dried up by now. With that said, same as mine, your unit might have a chance of having a high CPU temperature. In my case, the repairs have reduced more than 5 Celsius degree at idle. To remove the heatsink, grab a long nose plier. Press the heatsink push pin downward and use the plier to press it latch inward. Then release your finger from the push pin so the push pin spring can return to its original state. This effectively pulls the push pin out of the Brocade 6610 motherboard and remove the CPU heatsink. Step 15. After the CPU heatsink is removed, clean the CPU die and heatsink. Water might not be the best choice here, so you can use rubbing alcohol or 70% isopropyl alcohol instead. I do not have rubbing alcohol, so I use a hand sanitizer that is made from ethyl alcohol. This also helps clean the old thermal paste residue. Step 16. Repaste the CPU. My preference is to use a non-conductive thermal paste, but it is just me. Because the CPU generates a fair amount of heat, which can be more than 80 Celsius degrees and trigger an overheating protection. Therefore, a thermal bath might not be the best choice. Step 17. Align the CPU heatsink to its original location and press the push pin so it can secure the heatsink as before. It may take some choice and force to reattach the CPU heatsink. Be careful though, because under your finger is a maze of electronic components. You will not want to snap them in half. We just finished the disassembly and CPU repasting of the Brocade 6610 network switch. Now, reverse the disassembly step and you will be able to assemble the network switch again. This is Devemia. Thank you for watching.